So some of the good things I saw here is that you're using, well, first of all, it seems like you've covered with your deck pin mechanism really nicely. So that's, you know, that's good. That's what I like to see is when you run into a problem, you know, we take care of it, adjust things accordingly. So it looks like you taken care of that problem nicely. You use this, you know, I like that you're using a structured way to choose between different concepts, right? That's kind of something that, with a lot of this you did last semester. You have at least some sort of justification for your factor of safety, which is great, you know, because a lot of people say, yeah, let's go for it. So you have some good justification for your factors of safety there. So that's all really good. I think, so a couple of things I think you need here, and actually this was, I think, if I remember right, I'm trying to remember your first design review. If I remember right, your first design review I think was a little better this way. You really need more images of your system and need to and your test setup, and you need to show like your deck management,
movement, yeah,
movement, right? So I'm like, when you get into that, I'm trying to remember, wait, where is this on the whole system, and what's it doing exactly, and right? So you really need, like, when you come into that, this is where this is in the system. This is what, you know, it's just 10 seconds, but. And this is what it's doing, right? When you explain your test setup, have an image of your test setup. But this is the test that we're doing. This is the one we're pulling. Because you're saying all this with words, but for those of us who are not super familiar with your, with all the nitty-gritty details of your project, it's the image is a much better way to just quickly communicate what's going on, how this fits back into the overall thing. I think it was easy during the presentation to get lost in all the words. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
The other thing I would say is two other comments. Well, a comment and a question. The other thing, you're kind of making reference to lots of different specs around. So tie that up with a table or some sort of summary right at the end that, you know, the specs that you verified, right? So here's the spec, that's what it was, yep, we verified this, we verified this, we verified this, right? So like I guess you have a 200 amp spec on your motor?
We have a 200 amp spec on this system, so that was a design goal, is to keep this whole thing, you know, all the pins in the motor operating under 200 amps.
Okay, and you're consuming 150 amps from your deck.
In a fully loaded situation,
Isn't it? Did I get that right?
In a fully loaded situation, you're getting about 100.
Okay, so
and about
there's a lot of little things like that, right? That it's not like, what's your spec and why, and did you mean it? So I'd summarize that a little bit. Now, go to your look ahead slide.
Do you want to see those tables like maybe with this summary? So
you can do it. You can break them up and put them throughout.
Okay.
If you want, or you can do it all at the end. But you know, when you're talking about like, we had a safety factor 3 and we sized all these pins according to you could just put in the table right there, right? Here were all the things that, and here's how we validated it with them, right?
Okay. What slide do you want to see?
That's not a really big deal, but it makes it sort of, it ties in your design decisions and your results up.
I guess one question I would have for you related to that is, do you think that would shorten up the presentation? Because right now we feel like we have so much stuff to try to present.
Yeah,
15
your
minutes,
presentation was a little long, and
it's
you
hard
have too many
to
words in your presentation and not enough images and summary tables and numbers. That makes sense?
Yes.
I think that, so I think adding that would shorten your presentation up, but I think your presentation can be shortened up quite a bit. Like in your explanation of how the scissor jack mechanism didn't work, like a lot of this, I think you can just practice a few times and cut out this superfluous kind of dialogue, right? Just a little crisper what the main points are.
Okay.
So I think you can shorten, and you can shorten up a lot of your bullet points and text in the presentation too.
Which slide did you want to see?
Go to your look ahead slide. Okay, here. So I have two questions about your upcoming activities here. The onboard automation controls, what exactly does that entail? Is that a set of controls that are already, that's like off-the-shelf controls, or are you building these controls?
So it's in the budget under like toggle switches and things like that. So we have this remote control that controls, and we have it wired up and tested it with a couple of the things. So that remote control does that. If that remote control fails, the battery dies, the circuit board breaks, whatever, you're sunk. The system doesn't work. You'll have to go and bypass all your things. Whereas if we have them wired into some switches on the trailer, you can still control the trailer. You can still run the stuff, just not wireless. And so we're going to actually have a remote control, a handheld remote control that's wired. It'll plug in, and then it just wires into the same wires that you're controlling with the wireless remote. But now you're doing it. So
Okay, so this is
current
basically
current
just
goes back.
off the shelf
Yes.
remote switching
There's
system,
no
and you're just
ECE in
buying
there.
and plugging it.
Yeah, no programming, nothing like that.
Yeah.
It's-
Okay, and then the last thing, what does testing mean? What tests are you going to do? How do you evaluate those tests, and what's a pass and what's a fail?
Okay. I don't know that we've really developed a solid testing structure yet, but the idea would be putting loads on the trailer, such as, you know, different cars that commonly get towed on this trailer, and then go out and test them in the three main areas where the trailer doesn't work: jackknife positions, inclined planes, and slippery or, you know, uneven rough surfaces. And then we could do the same things. We could get the ammeter out, measure the current as we're doing the test to make sure we're still falling below that 200 amp spec, make sure we're not overloading the winch. The current gives us a pretty good idea of how much force it's taking to drive the system, and then that gives us an idea of whether or not we're within that safety factor of 3. And we can develop an actual safety factor compared to the 1,000-pound ideal situation.
Okay, that was a really good explanation there. I think there's like some details on exactly how you're going to work out the tests, but that sequence was a really good explanation where you said, okay, we're going to measure the current, that correlates to the loads, this correlates to the safety factors, right? So make sure that in your next design review, when you prep, right, really be very specific about how your test results link back to all your specs. You guys have any comments, questions?
So, yeah, I mean, I have kind of the same comment. The first thing is your presentation was like very long. You went like 5 minutes over time. So,
Which on Fridays, we have a little more buffer time than on the other days, so I didn't really kind of cut it out, but that's true. It was a little
but, and make sure to add more pictures, and when you explain the mechanism, you know, just add a picture and, you know, make sure to explain this is how it fits into our device. I have one question about your pin mechanism. You mentioned the second approach is solving all your problems, but you also said you're still pursuing the first Caesar mechanism. Why are you doing that?
I don't think we said that. I don't think we said that. If we did, that was unintentional. We're not pursuing anything.
Oh, maybe I
Caesar
didn't.
mechanism.
Sorry.
So,
We could show them the video where we threw it in the garbage. We're so frustrated.
And I have just one quick question. What is the refit trailer surface? Are you just painting?
The trailer's old and it's rusty, so they're going to get it sandblasted and repower coated. We're going to help them with that because in the you've got to remove all the wiring and stuff, and since we have a whole bunch of wires to add as well, it kind of goes hand in hand. So kind of schedule that in and allow that little, you know, week-long dead space where it's going to be in the powder coater and we won't have the trailer to actually work on it. In that time, we'll be designing the final wiring harness and the automation controls because we don't actually need the physical trailer to do that. So it's not complete downtime for us, unfortunately.
By the way, I would like to point out that pretty much all of these comments were really about your presentation, more than about the actual implementation of your project. It seems to me like you guys are right on track and everything's like you're ticking along really nicely, and that the project seems like it's right on track, unless you're lying here.
That's what I'm here for.
Sure. Do you have any comments or?
No, so I was in a conference all week and I was chairing sessions and I was really trying hard not to stand up at the 2-minute mark and loiter. You know,
Yeah.
keeping time. No, that's good.
Okay, thank you guys.